Hi, good evening. I'm Steve Adler. Got a minute? All right, so let's go over the numbers here in the city, and let's start trying to put into context the numbers relative to where we are and keeping businesses open and sustaining the opening of schools. All right, so let's begin with the city of Austin chart. Look at that graph in the middle. Uh, I think at this point, we're not looking at a plateau. We're looking at a decrease, which is good to see, always fragile. We haven't seen an uptick from July 4th. Congratulations to everybody in the city. We have Labor Day approaching. We need to start thinking about whether we want Labor Day to look like July 4th or whether we want Labor Day to look like Memorial Day. Look at the numbers we have. Hospitalizations, new admissions at 34. 34 is a pretty low number. We were at 32 yesterday. So those are 2 days in a row down in the 30s. The 7-day moving average is at 47. That's down a little bit from what it was yesterday. Those are obviously good numbers. Number of cases in the city, 240 cases. We had low numbers this weekend. It was 79 on Sunday. We said that was going to be artificially low because it's Sunday. You don't usually get a lot of reports, but Monday, a day sometimes when numbers go up. 240 is below the 7-day average of 275. The mint colored numbers in the middle. Again, those are 7-day running numbers. 424 hospitalized is the 7-day running average. In our hospitals tonight, 390 people. So we're beating our 7-day average, which means our total number of hospitalized folks are going down. ICUs, 150 is the 7-day running average. 140 people tonight in ICUs. Again, lower than the 7-day running average. We're coming down. On ventilators, 105 is the 7-day running average. We have 97 people tonight on ventilators in our hospitals. Again, the number is going down. You hate almost to present numbers going down like this because the last time we had numbers that went down like this, we all relaxed. We all started living like the virus wasn't here, and that's all the virus needed to do to jump back and forth between people. This virus is still causing real significant health issues, certainly in nursing homes, and then especially in our Latinx communities. And we're going to talk about that again here real shortly. But know that the infectivity level among our Latinx population, while it is coming down, is still way, way, way too high. So we still have a health impact that's pretty severe. We also have an economic impact. We have a chance to do something here in our city. We have a chance to really be able to sustain some measure of economic opening in a community that needs it. It is the reward for being good, just like opening up schools and having more students able to be on site and being able to sustain it. We're not there yet because the infectivity level in our community is still high, but these are the things we should be fighting to hold on to now. In order to do that, we're going to have to keep wearing masks and keep social distancing. That's the constant. What we need to find out is, can we, in fact, sustain an open economy wearing masks and social distancing? So we can't go back. If we do it differently, we're going to go right back to where we were before, and we'll just be pinging back and forth. But anyhow, numbers today looking good, putting us in the position where we might be able to do something unique among cities in the country. You're seeing a little of it now in New Jersey and New York and Connecticut, but very few cities are able to actually hold on to numbers when they start going down because people relax. We have to really, really, really focus on how important it is for us to try and keep businesses open, keep schools open. Let's go to the next dashboard to take a look at it. We have that 240 new cases take us to 19,720 cases. You can see that deaths, we're at 252. That number of 252 is an increase of 11 people over the 241 that we had yesterday. We've had a lot of deaths in the city over the last 2 or 3 weeks. About 20% of the total number of deaths that we've had in the city altogether. That is the last indicator. You pull down new cases, you pull down ICUs, you pull down hospitals, you pull down meds. The last number to start really decreasing is in deaths. That's why when people get caught on the trajectory, even when they start doing everything, deaths continue to rise. That's what you saw happening in New York, and it took a long time for that number to plateau. The numbers in green are the daily numbers that I talked about just a moment ago. Let's take a look at a different chart. Let's take a look. I think we're going to look at Dr. Escott's chart. It's the one that looks like the color-coded chart that we have in the middle, but that one's a cartoon. This is the real number. You can see the numbers in blue are the daily numbers. You can see we've had 2 numbers in a row between 30 and 40. You can see that yellow line, 7-day running average. It plateaued, and now it's coming back down. Whether or not we can move that back down completely is totally dependent on whether people continue to social distance and wear masks. Avoid large groups. We're making avoid large groups, at least for this interim period of time until we can get to a better place. In order for us to feel confident about being able to really reopen businesses, we need to drive that number down. We need to get it down. When we saw the risk level charts, we'll go over those again shortly. But we need to drive that number down, get the infectivity down. We're going to start looking at some other factors here in the evening that we look at, which is the percent of total tests in the city that were given and total people with confirmed cases, total tests. That percentage is one that we need to drive down and down and down. If we were to open up schools today on site and everybody would show up, there'd be too many teachers and too many students that would arrive sick on the very first day. We wouldn't be able to sustain the opening of schools, which is why we're looking at no schools on site till after Labor Day. We're assessing plans and right now to see how we get groups that are small and are contained so that if someone there does have the virus, we're able to isolate it into a smaller group. But we need to drive that down so that fewer people per thousand in our city have the virus. So you go further and further around, and the virus is fewer and farther between people that you would run into. Let's take a look at the next chart that we have. Again, looking at the data, this is from the University of Texas. The R1 numbers in the upper right-hand corner. If you slide that down a little bit, stop right there and just keep it right there. In the upper left-hand corner, the R factor, 0.71. Remember that anything over 1, the virus is growing. Anything less than 1, you're on a trajectory for the virus to eventually not be transferred. The range is from 0.49 to 1.22. So we're still kind of on that edge. Something could go wrong here, and we could have an outbreak, and we would be in trouble. But you can see that chart, not too dissimilar to the one we just saw, but this one shows the projection. Each of those black lines off to the right side is a equally probable result, but most of the results now move downward, as does that mean and median line. I have another chart I want to show to you, just so you once again see the kinds of charts that we look at on a daily basis. This is a chart that is actually done by a service that tracks cell phone usage. They have thousands and thousands of people carrying cell phones, and the cell phones are tied into taking temperatures, and they watch kind of the general temperatures inside a community based on people who are participating in that app. That means the results are probably skewed a little bit because not everybody's going to put that kind of app on their phone. but it's actually found to be tracking the R1 levels pretty well. Areas of the country where temperatures seem to be rising are the areas where the infection is having a greater hold. And as people turn, the numbers come back down. You can see what it is in Travis County. Here you can see all the way to the left is March. The peak is what we were seeing in May and June, and then the numbers coming down as we get to July 26th. I'm a little concerned about that little hook at the end there in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm hopeful that that is not our city relaxing and an early indication that the virus is ticking back up again. So I'm concerned about that little movement there. Let's continue to maintain vigilance and discipline. Okay. There is only 1 week that's left in signing up for the free food in school program. Again, we have a lot of parents and families who participate in the free and reduced lunch programs that could be taking advantage of meals this summer that haven't signed up for them. If you know anybody that would be in the position that would do that, please make sure that you let them know. I do want you to see what Austin's doing relative to other cities. Because when I talk about we have a unique opportunity here, I think as a city perhaps to really be able to show the rest of the state, maybe the rest of the country, how it is that a city that maintains discipline with masking and social distancing can actually open up an economy, slowly measuring results over time as we do that, not going as quickly as we did before, but certainly going with much greater discipline for masking and social distancing, even when you don't think you need it. But let's look and see how we're doing to other major counties in the city. This was an article that ran today. I want everybody to take a look at this. Could you pull it up, Anita? You have that chart? No? Okay, let's just talk about it here. We have active cases that were listed by county as of July 26th. I have the chart right here for you. Harris County, 40,000 cases. Dallas, 15,900. Tarrant, 12,077. This is in order. Bexar County. So three of those cities in the top four are three of the four largest cities in the state. Travis County is the one that's missing from that list. Go down below that: Galveston, Nueces, Cameron, Webb, Fort Bend, El Paso, Hays County, active cases, Montgomery, Denton, and there is Travis County at 15. This is just another indication that we have been real diligent in this community in pushing down this number. We should feel good about that, but we should also recognize that if we were to go back to what we did the first week in May, there's the chart. Again, if we go back to where we were the first week in May and do what we did again, we would be exactly on this same path one more time. And it's just incredibly disruptive to be moving back and forth and back and forth. The University of North Texas just did a study finding that mandatory face mask helps reduce the spread of the virus, but we know that here. It's just interesting to me that the governor in Arkansas, Republican governor, it took him to today to issue an order mandating mask covering. If only Arkansas had done this 4 weeks ago, if only we had done it when we tried to open up the economy beginning in May, we would be in a lot different position right now. Viruses all around us, they're still battling down in the valley. Conditions are still critical down there. ICUs absolutely at capacity down in the valley. That could be us, but it's not. And the next conversation we're going to start having as a community is can we be vigilant and diligent at a time when we're just trying to hold on to keeping businesses open and schools able to sustain themselves. All right, that's all for today. We're going to do the mailbag. We got mailed in photo tonight. We hear that kids keep you on your toes. It's usually a euphemism for kids drive you crazy, but it also is true. And Liam, who is age 9, is keeping his grandma Susan on her toes in the best possible way. Here they are doing planks, which is pretty impressive. This is so much harder than it looks, especially if you're doing it for any length of time at all. We should all be probably getting our acts together. Liam and his grandma, Suzanne, are going to get through this pandemic with great abs. When we started going into this place, I thought that I would be running on the running trail around the lake every day, and I'd be in amazing shape right now. It's not true. I've actually put on a little weight. The only thing I have to show for the pandemic in this regard is the ponytail that I'm wearing that my granddaughter and I put in each other's hair. With that, we'll talk tomorrow. Good night. You all take care and be safe.